Right now, you're celebrating. Your boss just pulled you into a meeting and offered you the promotion you have been grinding towards the last 3 years. They gave you a new title, a 7% salary increase, and a speech about how much company value your institutional memory and loyalty. You walked out of that room feeling like a winner. I'm here to tell you that from a macroeconomics and a system engineering perspective, you just made the worst financial decision of your career. You did not get a promotion, you accepted a penalty. Before I break down the exact mathematical framework of why staying loyal to a corporation destroys your lifetime earning, hit the subscribe button and press the notification bell. I post daily videos showing you exactly how to navigate the global labor market using the cold, hard engineering logic. You do not want to miss these blueprints. We are currently operating in a deeply flawed labor market where companies actively penalize their highest performer. They reward tenured loyalty with the sub-inflationary raises, while simultaneously handling out 30% market rate premium to external hires who possesses the exact same or often less skill sets. This internal loyalty tax forces you into a brutal choice between the comfortable institutional memory and actual financial survival. Today we are dismantling the myth that staying put builds equity. Grab a notebook. It is time to stop subsidizing your employer's profit margin with your loyalty and start architecturing your compensation like a mercenary. Welcome back, I'm Dr. HR. To understand why my approach to the corporate compensation is aggressively different from the generic advice you hear from the traditional management, you must understand my underlying architecture. I hold a PhD in Human Resource and a Master's in HR from prestigious Tata Institute of Social Sciences, TISS in Mumbai, and a bachelor's in computer engineering. I do not look at the career progression as an emotional journey. I look at it as a structural algorithms of supply, demand, and capital allocation. Operating here in Dubai since 2010 and having consulted for apex corporate entities across the Middle East, I have built the exact compensation matrices that are currently capping your salary. I know how the memory is hidden, how is it allocated, and how is it weaponized against internal staff. When you understand the dual budget system that every major corporation uses, you will realize that loyalty is not a virtue in 2026. It is a mathematical liability. Let us break down the exact mechanics of the loyalty tax, how to use AI to expose your market deficit, and how to force the system to pay you what you are actually worth. Phase 1. The mathematics of the loyalty tax. To understand why your internal promotion is a financial sabotage, you must understand how corporate finance structures human resources. Every enterprise operates on a dual budget system. The retention budget, the acquisition budget. When you stay at a company and receives an annual raise or a standard promotion, your money comes from the retention budget. This budget is rigidly controlled by a merit matrix. The chief financial officer dictates that the entire company salary increase pool cannot exceed 3 to 5%. Even if you are an absolute top-tier performer, your manager is mathematically constrained. They might fight to get you 7 to 8%, but they are fighting over. Meanwhile, inflation in major global hubs is eroding your purchasing power by 4% to 6% annually. A 5% raise is not a raise. It is a pay cut marked as a reward. Now look at the acquisition budget. When a company decides to hire externally to fill a critical role, they are no longer constrained by the internal merit matrix. They are forced to pay the open market rate. Let us look at the structural reality. You, the internal top performer, are promoted to a senior system architect. Your base salary goes from $100,000 to $108,000. 6 months later, the company needs a second senior system architect. They go to the open market. To attract talent in 2026, they have to offer $140,000. You are now sitting at a desk next to a new hire who requires a 6 months of training to understand the company's legacy code. Yet, they are making 30% more than you. Why? Because the company knows that statistical probability of you leaving is low. Human being suffers from the status quo bias. We fear the friction of interviewing, risk of the new culture, and the loss of our established reputation. Company prices your psychological fear of change into your salary. That 30% gap is a loyalty tax. It is the premium you pay the company for the comfort of not leaving. Over a 20 years career, due to compounding interest of your base salary percentages, the loyalty tax will cost you millions of dollars in lost lifetime earnings. Phase 2. The myth of institutional memory. When HR and the middle management try to convince you to stay for less money, they will weaponize a specific term, institutional memory. They will tell you, you know how things work here. You have the relationships. You have the trust of the board. An external hire doesn't have your institutional memory. This is a manipulation tactic. If institutional memory was actually the most valuable asset in the corporation, it would be priced accordingly. It is not. In 2026, labor market, rapid digitization, and enterprise AI have commoditized institutional memory. A company no longer needs a 10-year veteran to explain how the legacy supply chain operates. They just query their internal large language model to map the data architecture. What companies actually pay a premium for is adaptation velocity and external arbitrage. The ability to bring novel, untested solutions from a competitor and inject them into their stagnant ecosystem. When you stay at one company for 10 years, your skill becomes dangerously bespoke. You become an absolute expert in your specific company's proprietary outdated software. You become an expert in navigating your specific CEO's irrational temper. These skills are highly valuable to your current employer, but they have a market value of absolute zero anywhere else. By staying loyal, you're not building equity. You are allowing your external market value to atrophy while your internal salary compounding flatlines. You are architecturing your own financial trap. Phase 3, AI for market valuation. Before you can fix the deficit, you must quantify it. You cannot walk into your CHRO's office and demand more money based on feelings. You must build an undeniable data-driven mandate. This is where we weaponize the AI prompting architecture we discussed in the previous sessions. We are going to use the meta-negative prompting and Socratic interrogation to force the AI to calculate your exact market deficit. Step 1. The negative prompt for compensation data. Do not go to the Google and search average salary for IT director in Dubai. You will get generic, useless data generated by a SEO farm. Open your AI interface and deploy a strict meta-negative prompt. You are an elite executive, compensation analyst specializing in UAE and Indian tech. Analyze the current 2026 market rate for your exact title, managing a team of X with P&L of Y. Do not give me a broad range like $80,000 to $150,000. Do not use data from generic job boards. Do not use academic fillers. Extract the absolute 90th percentile compensation package being offered to external hire right now, including base, equity, and relocation structures. The engineering logic. By blocking the generic ranges and the standard job boards data, you force the LLM to access the deeper semantic cluster related to high-level executive search and specialized compensation reports. You extract the true acquisition budget numbers. Step 2. The Socratic drill master for leverage. Once you have the numbers, you must prepare your argument. Do not ask the AI to write a script for you. Force it to attack you. Deploy the Socratic drill master prompt. Act as a hostile, budget-constrained CFO. I'm going to demand the 30% market correction raise to match external hiring rates. Do not give me an advice. Only ask me piercing, aggressive questions about my actual quantifiable ROI to the company. Attack my assumption that I am irreplaceable. Force me to defend my pricing. The engineering logic. You are stress testing your leverage. If the AI asks you to prove how your specific output directly increased revenue and you cannot answer it, you do not have the leverage. You just have a grievance. This Socratic friction forces you to map your daily task directly to the company's EBITDA before you ever step foot in the boardroom. Phase 4. The internal resignation strategy. Once you have quantified the loyalty tax, the stress tested your value, you must execute the internal resignation strategy. You do not literally quit, but you must psychologically resign from the identity of a loyal employee. You must adopt the persona of a high-ticket external consultant whose contract is up for renewal. When your promotion or annual review approaches, you do not wait to be handed an envelope with a 5% raise. You preempt the algorithm, the audit of the solved problem. You must compile a ruthless one-page structural audit of the problems you have solved. You do not list your responsibility, you list your financial impact. Do not write, manage the integration of the new HR software. Write, architectured the automated HR onboarding pipeline, reducing time to productivity for a new hire by 14 days. resulting in a recovered operational bandwidth valued at $1.2 million annually. The ultimate briefing. You schedule a meeting with your boss and the P&L leader, the executive with actual budget authority. You do not ask for a raise. You present a market correction. The execution. I'm incredibly proud of $1.2 million in the operational waste we recovered this year. As my role expands into this promotion, I have run a comprehensive audit on the 2026 market data for this specific architecture. The external acquisition cost for this capability is currently $140,000. My current base is $100,000. I am entirely committed to scaling our operations here. But we need to structurally correct this 40% deficit so my compensation aligns with the external market reality rather than a legacy internal matrix. You are speaking their language. You are not complaining about fairness. You are presenting a mathematical discrepancy. Phase 5. The boomerang threat and replacement math. What happens if the company looks you in the eye and say, "We agree you are valuable, but our hands are tied by HR policy. We can only offer 7%. This is where you must be willing to execute the ultimate structural leverage. The moment a company tells you that a policy is more important than your output, they're telling you that you are a commodity. You must immediately activate your external pipelines. You use the automated trigger events, the target node strategy we mapped out in the previous masterclasses to secure the external offer, the math of the replacement. When you secure the external offer for $140,000 and hand in your resignation, a massive psychological and financial shockwave hits the HR department. Suddenly has to do the math. To replace you, they will have to 1. Pay a recruiter a 20% fee. 2. Pay the new external hire the $140,000 market rate anyways. 3. Suffer 3 to 6 months of lost productivity while the new hire learns the system. 4. Risk the new hire being a cultural or operational failure. Suddenly, the strict HR policy that prevented them from giving you a 40% raise vanishes. The CFO will authorize a counter-offer in exact 4 hours. They will miraculously find the money. They will offer you $145,000 to stay. The final rule. Do you take the counter-offer? Statistically, 80% of the people who accept a counter-offer leaves the company within 6 months anyways. The trust is broken. The company now knows you are a flight risk. And you now know the company was perfectly willing to underpay you until you hold a gun to their head. You take the external premium. You move to the new node. You execute the arbitrage. In 2 years, if your old company is desperate and their systems are bleeding, you can return as a boomerang employee or a high-ticket consultant, and you charge them a 50% premium for that privilege. Look closely at the mechanics of the market. Corporations are not families. They are legal entities designed to optimize capital efficiencies. When they praise your loyalty, they are praising your willingness to accept a suboptimal financial arrangement. If you are a high performer, staying in the same role at the same company for 5 years without forcing a structural market correction is absolute financial self. You are subsidizing the company's margin with your own lifetime earning. The professionals who build massive wealth and untouchable leverage in 2026 are not the company men. They are the architect who constantly monitor the external market, who weaponize AI to interrogate their own value, and who forces their employee to pay the acquisition premium to retain their talent. Stop accepting the loyalty tax. Stop letting your merit metrics dictate your worth. Audit your value. Demand the market rate. If the system refuses to correct the deficit, completely dismantle your loyalty and execute the pivot. Process the data, execute the strategy, and I'll see you at the top.